guys. So today what I want to explain to you is my experience about being tested for gestational diabetes in your first trimester. So I want to make this very, very clear. I'm definitely like not a doctor or any way a medical professional by any means. This is my first pregnancy, and I just kind of want to explain to you my experience about getting tested for gestational diabetes in the first trimester, because this was interesting for this pregnancy. Well, okay. So, just to let you know, I am considered a high risk or a higher risk for gestational diabetes. It is because I have diabetes all over my side of the family. I don't know if this matters, but also my husband also has some diabetes in his family. I don't know if that's important or considered high risk. And I'm so frustrated because even though last year I went on this great weight loss journey and I lost 78 pounds in less than a year doing Weight Watchers, I am still definitely in the obese category for my height and weight range. So because of my obesity, I can't sugarcoat it, because of my weight and because of my family history, I was considered a higher risk for gestational diabetes. And if you're not familiar, gestational diabetes is basically diabetes brought on by pregnancy. Typically after you give birth, the diabetes does go away and you get better. But according to the book that I read, Childbirth, Pregnancy, and the Newborn, if you had gestational diabetes, you are even more prone to getting diabetes sometime in life. And I'm already like, it runs in my family. Like, I definitely have it, and I am overweight, even though before I got pregnant I was really working on changing my lifestyle to do it. And diabetes is particularly hard for me emotionally because my dad, who I am very, very close to, has had diabetes, honestly, probably since before I was born, but he was diagnosed when I was young, and he has had a lot of difficulties and a lot of complications from diabetes. And so, like, he lives his life and he's like the happiest, like most supportive, optimistic person alive, but it still affects him, and I still know, like, and I see it every day. And so diabetes is something that is emotionally difficult for me. So they did want me to get tested, and the first stage of testing is a 1-hour glucose test. And so I'm going to explain my experience with this. I don't know if this is standard everywhere. My healthcare provider is Kaiser Permanente, and so I just want to share my experience in case it is similar to your experience. So before my first OB appointment, they wanted me to get a lot of blood work done, a lot of labs done, as well as take a 1-hour glucose test. So what I did to do that is basically you get called into the lab at your office, and then you'll have a piece of paper about all the things you need to get done, and on the top it will be like 1-hour glucose test. So I went in there and she was like, "Oh, you're doing your glucose test." I was like, "Yes, I don't know what's going on." And so she was like, "Basically, I'm going to draw your blood. We're going to drink this drink, and then we're going to draw your blood again at this." And so that's what I did. So I sat down. Oh, actually, I don't think they drew, I take it back. I'm sorry, they didn't draw my blood beforehand. It was just all afterwards. So they did say when I set up this lab work, When they set up this lab work, they said for the 1 hour glucose test, there is no need to fast, just have a light meal, and then also maybe have some snacks available for when you are when you're done, because I think it was because they were taking a lot of blood, so don't feel lightheaded. So this was on, we were doing this test, we wanted to do it like a little bit before lunchtime, and actually my husband and I, well, he was doing a long run and I was doing a long walk, so I think I walked that morning like 5 miles. And then I came home and I had, because I was actually hungry, I had like 4 pieces of toast, like 4 bread, because honestly like toast was the only thing I could manage. Then so I did have like a decent amount of toast, but I also like was power walking it for 5 miles before then. So I went in to get the test, and they have you drink, it's like, I would say maybe it's like 8 ounces, I would guess. It's about a water bottle about this big, maybe about this big around. Not like the baby water bottles, but like a skinnier, taller version of that. And it's a really sugary drink. Basically, it tastes like a flat version of like Sprite or 7-Up, like it's lemon and lime flavored. So I actually was like, oh, this doesn't taste bad. And so I just drank it. I was able to finish it. It was no problem. And then I went and waited in the car, because we're just really trying to limit our exposure to people right now. So we waited in the car, and then after it was an hour, I was able to go back in. And one thing is that I felt a little bit weird, because just walking in there, because typically they have like a number system, and it's like, now serving 12 at station number 2, you know, and that's how you get in, you know, you get a little ticket or number. But they just said just walk right in. So I just walked right in, and then it was really nice, because all the lab technicians were very, very kind, very professional, very good, which was awesome. And then they were just like, time draw? And I was like, I think so. I had the 1 hour, they were like, great, please come here. You know, so it was really good, because like I tend to get a little like awkward and feel a little anxious about these different things, because it's like, oh, I know they said it's okay, but like I don't have a number anymore. So so then they did the lab work. So basically they just did a lot of draw. I think it was about 10 vials, about like this big of blood, but they used a like it looked like a short IV, so it really wasn't, it honestly wasn't a painful experience. I just can't look, because that's just not how I live my life, you know. But they were all kind. They did a good job. It wasn't like that painful or anything like that. And to be honest, I felt extra tired during the day, but I didn't feel exceptionally bad. And it's hard to know, you know, when you're pregnant. It's like, am I tired because I'm pregnant, or am I tired because they took a whole lot of blood out of me? You know, it's like, who knows? You know, I don't think there's any way. And honestly, why does it matter, right? Just go take a nap and be better. So then I got the test results back, and I was higher. I think I was 14 points higher than the highest in the standard range, which was very devastating, very, very hard for me, because I was worried, because I still am struggling with food aversion in my pregnancy. Like I cannot even swallow basic things that are like healthy things, you know. And sadly, a lot of the things that I am able to consume right now are very carb focused, and carbs are not the best option if you have diabetes. And I am very familiar, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but because my dad has had it for his whole life, I understand diabetes, and I understand the diet you're supposed to be on, Dad. But anyways, And I was having a lot of anxiety because I was just like, I do not know what I was going to do. And as soon as I saw that number for that initial test, in my heart, I was like, oh, I know I have it. I was just sure because I was like, well, of course, like I'm still obese, you know, I'm way over, like I'm not even in the overweight category. Like lost 78 pounds, you're still obese, you know. And then also my family history, I just thought that I just was sure, you know, I was sure. And so I just felt overwhelmed. I felt so sad and so just like, I just felt powerless because it was like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it or whatever, but I was like, you know what, I let it steal the joy of my pregnancy for a day. I was really sad. I was really like, I was just really in the pits for about a day. And then I had a change of heart. I had a change of attitude, really had a lot of prayer, and worked through it. And I was like, you know what, like, I don't have it yet, you know, or at least I don't know it. So I just was like, you know what, I'm going to act as if I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the pregnancy, and then if I have it, I have it. So I had the, so I had my OB appointment, which I talked to, and she did talk to me about gestational diabetes, and she was like, you don't, like, we need to take the 3-hour test. And honestly, this whole test and process is typically not done till much later in the pregnancy. And so she did explain that this 3-hour test, it was going to be hard. She was, because you have to fast, and she said including water. She was like, maybe some small sips, but really try not to have anything. I think it was like 9 to 10 hours before. I think I did closer to 12 just to be safe. And anyways, and so she was saying like, it is really hard because you have to have that like drink on an empty stomach, and it's just, she just said it's hard. So she was like, please try to do it as soon as possible, but if you have to wait for a little bit until your stomach can settle, that's okay. But she was like, the sooner you do it, the better. And so I, like, thankfully, morning sickness just as of yet has not been a part of my pregnancy journey. And so I was like, you know what, like, I'm going to do it. One thing that I was worried about was, I have no idea why. I have a sensitive stomach in general, but one thing is that I cannot handle sugar on an empty stomach. It makes me throw up, and or any sweet things. It's very, very hard for me to have it like in the morning. Honestly, I don't even care for sweets like super late at night either, because it just doesn't do well with my stomach. So I was nervous about it, but I was like, I need it for my peace of mind, and just to feel like I was doing the right thing, I had to get it done as soon as possible. So I think we had something going on the next day, but the day after our appointment was on a Wednesday, then we did the test on a Friday, the glucose test. So so I did the fasting. Actually, the fasting was no problem. The no water was really hard, but I just tried not to focus on it. And we, like, thankfully, I think the labs open at like 7:30 in the morning. So it was like, I just woke up, got in, and then so we could get things done. It was pretty similar to the first one, where actually they drew my blood. Actually, this is when they drew my blood before they did it, and then they gave me the drink. It was a drink that had even more sugar, glucose in it. And this time, so the first time when I did the 1-hour test, it was in the middle of the day. I had no problem downing it. This one, it was in the morning, empty stomach, all these different things. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I was just going to like barf it up right there. Like, even thinking about it, like, man, it was hard. Okay. So I went in and they had me drink. It was actually the same amount as the 1-hour one, but it just had more sugar. And previously it was not hard to drink it, but this time, oh my gosh, it was really hard. It was just really hard on my stomach, and like I almost almost blue chunks everywhere. But it did not, fortunately, like I had to do like a lot of like deep breathing, and they said that I had 5 minutes to drink it, and I was able to do it. So then they said, they gave me a piece of paper with instructions, and then the instructions were like pretty like, you have to be here like 5 minutes before the time that's written down, or else this whole test can be disqualified or not count, basically, and you would have to do it all over again. So they gave me a piece of paper after the drink and said, okay, come back in an hour. So once again, we're trying to do social distancing here. So that we just went, well, Eric didn't even come in for that part. So I just went and we just sat in the car, and I was not feeling too great, because it's just not sitting fine in my stomach. And once again, I'm really thankful that for this, I did not have to deal with morning sickness, because there's no way. I feel like if I was really battling morning sickness, absolutely no way I would have been able to keep this down, because it's just on an empty stomach, so much sugary, and that lemon lime flavor, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to want a Sprite again, or 7-Up, whatever, because it's just hard on an empty stomach. But I brought some pregnancy books to read, and I actually was able to finish one of my big ones, so I was really glad. So I just had a timer on my phone, and then I went in, and then fortunately, because I had the other experience, I know I could just walk in and I'm just like, hi, time draw here, and then someone is there like instantly to help. Because one thing that's really great is that the lab nurses, lab technicians, doctors, I'm really not sure. I should have asked what to properly, I guess I didn't call them anything. I was just like, hi, blah, blah, blah. You know, they were very, very professional, very, just great. And one thing is that I think because the coronavirus in America was starting to get a little bit more widespread, everybody was wearing masks, and they were doing such a good job in between everybody, like disinfecting everything going in there. So it was really good, because I felt in a lot of different ways, I felt like they were really looking out for my best interest, which I greatly appreciated at Kaiser. And so they immediately came in, they drew blood, then they signed some form. They made me check like on all these different things every single time. Like, this is your name, right? This is your name, to make sure, because apparently around the same time there was like 3 other different pregnant women also doing the test, so they just didn't want to get anything mixed up. So they had like lots of steps in check to process it. So then it was very quick. Just draw some blood, do the name checky thing, and sign some papers, and be like, okay, see you in an hour. So I went back in there, and then I did it twice over. The last hour, I was really starting to like, I would say the first hour or two, like I was really like dealing with some heavy nausea, not feeling good. But then like at the last part, I was almost feeling like lightheaded. I think it was probably because of not eating. They still were like, basically, if you have to drink a couple sips of water, drink a couple of sips of water. But I'm like a rule follower, and I was like, nope, I will be fine. So I wasn't drinking a lot of water. And then I didn't drink any water since the night before. And then I think I was just like getting hungry for like real food. So I just kind of was feeling not so great. And that last hour especially, I was I was just starting to feel almost a little lightheaded. It was just a rough experience. But once again, so you have to go in, so it's a 3-hour test. So you drink the nasty drink, then you get blood drawn every hour for 3 hours after that. And so one thing is that they were saying, I know that I have very shy veins. It makes sense, because I consider myself a very shy person, and so my veins are different, very shy. So they switch off arms to try to get things because one thing that was nice is that before, when I had to get the 10 vials drawn for the initial blood work before, when I did it with the 1 hour test, is that they only had to stick me once to get all the different vials for different testing things, which is great. But they obviously couldn't do it because I was coming in at like different times. So, well, they had to do it 4 times, right? For the initial one, and then 3 times afterwards. And so like the first one was okay, second one was okay. But the third and fourth one, man, we had to like really really clench a fist, really like do a lot of tapping and different things to go, because they were like, oh, your veins are really tired. And I was like, yeah, my whole body's tired. Like, but once again, they were so nice. They did really, really well. Honestly, it was like one of the least painful. Like it was. They were great for this one. And so at the last one, man, I was so excited to be done, because like I have to say, this 3 hour test, it's not painful. It's not terribly difficult. You just feel it's not pleasant, and you just feel disgusting. And it's rough because it lasts for like 3 hours, you know. Actually, it's even before, because you have to fast and things like that. But anyway, so I asked them, I was like, when can we expect the test results? You know, they were like, you know what, probably tomorrow. But she was like, maybe today, but probably tomorrow. And so I was like, that's not bad for tests, because this is not a life-threatening disease, you know. So it's not like I can't wait, you know, but like the sooner the better. So for some reason I was really feeling some McDonald's breakfast for lunch. So got some sausage McGriddles, and no, not sausage McGriddles is what my dad likes. I like sausage McMuffin. So Eric got me some sausage McMuffin and hash browns to eat on the way, and it was delicious. And then by the time we were done eating, and then I think we did like a few different things, but I would say like within hours, I got an email and test, and it said, Amy, you do not have gestational diabetes. My test, like my blood sugar level were really low during like all those times. So like my body handled it so well, and I was so relieved. And my doctor said, she was like, you know what, we might have to test you a couple more times, but she said that this probably would be the most difficult one, because the first trimester traditionally it's hard. You have all these stomach issues, right? And it's just harder. So I am so relieved. Once again, gestational diabetes would not have been something that I couldn't deal with, but it is just nice not to have the pressure of it. And I will know next time, because there will be a next time, if not multiple times, where I will have to go through this test again. But I will know what to expect. Oh, one more note is that this also was the day where I almost fainted multiple times because my blood pressure was so low, and I think it's because I was not drinking enough. So I highly recommend, if you are pregnant and you're struggling with low blood pressure, which is what I am really struggling with, please make sure after you take this test, really focus on hydrating yourself as much as possible. Like water, Gatorade Zero, whatever. Like really try to force yourself to drink a lot, because I almost collapsed multiple times, and it was because my doctor said that you need to drink a lot more to help with the low blood pressure. That's what she recommended. And it was great, because it was nice to get an email from the doctor to be able to like confirm, and I didn't have to I got the test results and also the doctor's email. Yes. So this is my experience. Once again, definitely, I'm not any sort of a medical doctor or professional by any stretch of the imagination, but I did want to tell you guys about my experience. And yeah, it was unpleasant, but it wasn't something that I couldn't handle or I couldn't deal with. And it's something that when I have to do it in different trimesters or different part, I'm not going to worry about it, and it's not going to stress me out because I know what to expect. And really, that's my hope, that for you guys that if you also have to take this test, I hope that this will give you some peace of mind to know that the testing thing, it is something that it won't scar you for life, in my opinion. It should, you will be fine. You will be able to survive it. You got this. Yeah, so if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new, please subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this, at the very least, was interesting, if not helpful. Okay, have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.